That's the shortest one on here, right?
It's one of the shorter pieces, yeah. Tangerine Moon is quite interesting. It's part of a manuscript that I'm working on called Tale of the Washerwoman.
Okay.
And it's a poem about longing and wanting to protect a loved one, but not being able to do so. So you're kind of frozen. You go through your day-to-day hoping that things will work out for the best, but you're just kind of frozen because you really can't do anything to make it better.
All right. And the track I started off with, Every Old New York Jazz Club.
That was fun to write. I was sitting in Iridium and I noticed that they were changing sets, and I was watching this exchange going on, and then how the music changed. And I had also been to St. Nick's Pub in Harlem, and I noticed that a lot of the jazz clubs are down in basements. As you're going down, you're getting that dampness that you get when you go down in a basement. But then it's also got the smells and things of the fact that there's liquor being sold and food. So it all kind of has that, to me, a similar aroma by virtue of where the jazz club is. So it was a fun piece to write, you know.
Sea Lion Woman.
Sea Lion Woman was inspired by Nina Simone's Sea Lion Woman. And a doll that someone had given me. And I thought to myself, okay, what else is this woman about? You know, people don't grow up wanting to be a sea lion woman like in Nina's song. They've done studies. Most children don't dream that they're going to grow up to be something not drug dealers or women of the street or whatever. They don't grow up dreaming to be that.
Yes.
But they had dreams. They have feelings. And I tried to capture a little bit of the other side of the sea lion woman's life.
All right, well done too. And one of my favorites, Blues Man, Truth Be Told.
That's another one of the poems from the manuscript that I'm working on. I think that Eddie Allen makes a perfect blues man to the poem. The horn, it was really interesting, that whole vibe, that collaboration that was going on. Everybody has a person in their life that, that sparks all kinds of things going on in them, and then something turns for the not so better, and then you have the breakup. So I always refer to it as the A and B side of a 45 recording.
All right. Koto Suite.
I was listening to the jazz group Hiroshima, and the sound of the koto instrument being played by Jun Kuramoto caught my attention. And I was trying to figure out, what is that sound? It was just so different. And I looked at the liner notes, and I saw, that it was the koto instrument, and I said, well, I wonder what this instrument is about. So I did a lot of research on it, and I found that it comes from 5th century BC China. And by the time it migrated to Japan, it took on the parts of a dragon. The whole instrument is likened to a flightless dragon. And that concept of a flightless dragon, which is something fierce, but this particular dragon is there to help the human soul. And then the thought of water came to me, because you'll note that most of the poem happens water side, and water is such a powerful force.
Right.
So it's really a poem of introspection and thinking of self and interact with the things that go on around you, and what do these events do to your sense of well-being?
All right. Pullman Porter.
Pullman Porter, I wrote after I read an article in the New York Times back in 2009. And it wasn't a really big article, a small article about the Pullman Porter. And at the end of the article, they were saying that there was going to be a celebration in Washington, D.C. on some mall somewhere. And it seemed to me the more I read the poem, the more I was getting a little annoyed with, not the poem, but the article, that I was getting a little annoyed with it, because it almost seemed as if none of this would happen if Obama had not won the presidency. And the poem was actually written in like 25 minutes.
Wow.
And every time I've done it, I've gotten very positive responses to the poem. And I came to find out, I met one gentleman who was the actual son of a Pullman Porter. Then I came to find out that my aunt's father was also a Pullman Porter.
That's something.
He said to me he never was late a day in 55 years of working.
Wow.
And when he retired, they gave him a watch.
Too much, huh?
The poem really resonates with a lot of people.
Yes, it does.
And I remember asking the gentleman whose father was a Pullman Porter, I asked him, did I get it right? And he said, well, let's put it this way, you made me remember my father.
Beautiful.